you big fly. Ooh, wee, ooh, wee. Yeah, I'm feeling bright, good inside me. Now I let me put up here, come on.
I ask you to look at my record. Of job creation, of success, of managing large budgets without one penny going missing. All of these things you can look at and compare to the other candidates. And again, you will see that my past performance and past behavior is a good predictor, a good indicator that what I commit to, we will deliver. There are 5 priorities we have. Our first priority is infrastructure. Simply put, it's electricity, it's roads, it's water, and it's internet and cell phone connectivity across Liberia. We have to invest in infrastructure. That is the top priority. That's the basis on which we can and will do everything else. The second priority for us is job creation. There are too many unemployed, underemployed, and unemployable Liberians. The unemployment rate is over 85%. And therefore, job creation is our next priority, creating jobs for the Liberian people. The next priority is agriculture. We are a country that do not fear ourselves. These are things we can do for ourselves. We should be producing rice to feed ourselves. And my commitment is that by the end of my first term in office, we will be self-sufficient in rice production. And within education, we are focused on vocational training, teachers training, and adult education. But we have to educate our young people because, again, that's how we can help them create jobs. That's how we can train farmers. And so these things are all linked together. And our final priority in terms of the what is health. Because you can have good infrastructure, you can have a good job, you can feed yourself, you can have great education, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. And so health is our 5th priority, and there we're focused on primary health care and preventive health care. So those are the what's we'll do for our people, for the Liberian people. How are we going to do these things? The first how is we want to engage Liberians differently in the transformation of our country. We call this hearts and minds. How do we get all Liberians to participate in the changes that are required? We're going to use arts and music and culture and reconciliation and religion, all of these things, we will be deliberate in using these things to engage us as a people in this transformation process. And so we're doing some work on how we can make those things happen. The next how is that we're going to find the money. We have to find the resources, the money, to do all of the what I mentioned earlier. And the way we'll find the money is, first, we'll go after waste in government. You know, we spend a lot of money on things that we don't need, or we pay too much for things that we do need. So, for example, I believe the vehicles we buy for our government officials, we spend too much money on that. We should reduce the number of vehicles, and we should buy less expensive vehicles for our government officials. We need to reduce how much they make so we can pay teachers and civil servants and police officers and the military officers and healthcare workers, people who actually do the work. We need to pay them more money and reduce the gap between those at the top and those who actually do the work. The other way we'll find the money is going after these things called corruption. You know, corruption has been the bane of our country, is the primary reason why we are as underdeveloped as we are today. And we will aggressively go after corruption. The first thing we'll do is we will appoint a corruption czar, a minister in charge of corruption in the presidency that will coordinate all of the agencies that are meant to find corrupt officials. Secondly thing we'll do is we'll make sure we are giving the resources, the money, the right people, the right logistics to the anti-corruption agencies, the LACC, Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Accounting Office, the Public Procurement and Concessions Commission. We will make sure they got the right resources to go after corrupt officials. After that, when we find people who are corrupt, we will prosecute them, we will put them in jail, and we'll seize their assets. It will not be good enough for you just to resign. So those are the things we will do to really go after corruption. I will not take a salary. The salary that is paid the president, I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is I will allocate it towards helping to fight corruption. That's how important I think it is to us. And then the other way we'll find the money is we'll make sure we're getting full value, the full monies we're due from our natural resources. We'll look to exploit other natural resources so we can get the funds required to fund healthcare, to fund infrastructure, to create jobs, etc., etc. So finding the money is the second how. The next how is we want to create a government of inclusion. We want all sections of our country to be represented in the government. We want opposition political parties to be in government, because we believe that having a government inclusion will help all of us make the right decisions. It will make sure that we're spreading the resources of our country across the entire country. And then the last two hows, one is growing the private sector. We will focus on growing the private sector so Liberians can primarily benefit from that growth. No longer should Liberian business people be spectators to our economy. And we want to actively support Liberianization and encourage and provide credit and other facilities to Liberian businesses so they can participate. And last but not least, we will use technology. We'll leverage technology to help us achieve our goals. So those are the what's and the hows. Here's the people's alternative to the budget. First, cap wasteful spending. We must cap the budget of the legislature and the executive. We must cap the budget of the legislature and the executive, ending the era of big cars, extravagant travel, amongst many other wasteful spending. We must fund the front line, shift resources to health, to education, and the security personnel, the police, the military, who actually keep us safe. Transparency.
We need county level reporting of the budget. If a budget cannot be explained to a market woman, it was not written for her. Next, farmers. Farmers must be first. Agriculture as the engine. The president calls agriculture the heart of the arrest agenda. But you cannot claim agriculture is the heart while you slash its funding. Here's the people's alternative for our farmers. We must meet the international commitment to allocate 10% of our national budget to agriculture. Processing, not just planting. We must use windfalls to build processing plants, rice milling, cassava processing, and fisheries cold storage, so farmers move from hand to mouth to business for profit. Farmers move from hand to mouth to business for profit. Feeder roads. These are the economic lifelines that connect farms to markets. Without them, harvest simply rots in the fields, and we need to invest significantly more in farm to market roads. Next, business and women, dignity and protection. Our Liberian women own 55% of small businesses, yet they are shut out of the banks and ignored by the system. But their struggle is not just economic. It is a struggle for safety and for dignity. Here's the people alternative for women. We need a national micro-loan scheme. We propose a dedicated credit and guarantee scheme specifically for market women and small Liberian businesses. Justice for women and girls. We cannot talk about women's first while the scourge of rape and sexual abuse haunts our communities. We must strengthen the judiciary to ensure that sexual and gender-based violent cases are prosecuted with urgency. A nation that cannot protect its daughters cannot claim to be recovering. When our women and girls are safe and prosperous, Liberia grows from the bottom up. Youth first, from hustle to careers. From hustle to careers. A temporary job is not a future. Our youth are not lazy. They are blocked by a lack of opportunity. Blocked by a lack of opportunity. Here's the people alternative for our youth. A national youth service program, engaging graduates as assistant teachers, healthcare workers, other professions, among many, many others, providing them with a salary, training, and a sense of purpose. We need a skills revolution. We need to expand TVET and apprenticeships county by county, so our young people have the technical skills to build our infrastructure. Decentralization, bringing government to the people. I strongly support decentralization, but passing a law is not enough. Real decentralization means counties can plan and develop without begging Monrovia for every cent. Here's the people's alternative on decentralization. Devolve money, decentralize money, not just titles. Counties must have predictable and audited development financing. We must strengthen county service centers. Basic services, permits, documents, deeds, licenses must be available in every county hub so that citizens do not have to spend their last savings traveling to Monrovia. Local governance. We must empower local leaders to prioritize their own feeder roads, their own schools and clinics, ensuring that the government is felt in villages and not just on Capitol Hill. Energy and infrastructure, powering production. A nation cannot develop in darkness. Most Liberians still live without reliable electricity, and rural Liberia still remains, unfortunately, largely in the dark. Yes, the people's alternative on energy. We need mini grid and solar to be installed and implemented immediately. We cannot wait on the central grid. We must deploy community solar and off-grid solutions for clinics and schools immediately. Power for production. Energy must be prioritized for agro-processing and small manufacturing to create jobs and not just to light up homes, although lighting homes is also important. Corruption. Corruption must go beyond indictments to justice. The president cited 11 indictments, but 2 convictions in 2 years is not the anti-corruption revolution Liberia needs. Corruption is the reason that there is no medicine in clinics, no supply in schools, among many other dire consequences. Here's the people's alternative on accountability. We need special anti-corruption courts. We need specialized courts to end the delay tactics that allow impunity to survive. Asset recovery. Stolen public money must be recovered and reinvested into water systems, schools, roads, and other productive investments that benefit the Liberian people directly. No protected species. Integrity institutions must be fully autonomous, ensuring that no one is protected by friendship, by family, or by party affiliation. I've just shared a summary of some alternatives we propose many challenges facing our country. But let me conclude as follows. The time for action is now. Fellow Liberians, the president ended his address by saying leadership is service. I agree. But leadership is also delivery. Leadership is also delivery. If the economy is growing, the people should feel it. People should feel it. If the government is working, hunger should be falling. Liberia has the land, the resources, and most importantly, Liberia has the talent. What we have lacked is discipline, competent, people-centered, and empathetic leadership that produces measurable results. This is what we offer. I see the resilience of the market woman who wakes up at 4 a.m. I see the brilliance of the student studying by candlelight. I see the farmer walking miles to a market road. You, among many others, represent the strength of Liberia. The People's Alternative is not just a critique. It is a promise of integrity, competence, and a government that loves its people more than it loves itself. A government that loves its people more than it loves itself. The time for empty rhetoric is over. The time for action is now. The time for Liberia to rise is now. I thank you, God bless you, and God bless Liberia.
Mr. Van Billion Van, fly, you big fly. Ooh, wee. Yeah, I'm feeling right good inside me. Now I let it before the beer corner.
Kapau, 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 kapau,